The first time I saw Mira, I thought I was losing my mind. It was a Tuesday morning, and the Moonlit Bean Cafe was packed with the usual crowd. Students hunched over laptops, business people gulping overpriced espressos, and me, nursing my third coffee while pretending to work on my novel. That's when she emerged from the back room, and the entire cafe seemed to hold its breath. She had fox ears, not costume ears, not some quirky headband. Real, tawny-furred ears that twitched and rotated independently atop her head, catching sound the rest of the U.S. couldn't hear. They were beautiful, delicate and expressive, dusted with white at the tips. Her auburn hair fell in waves around her shoulders, and her amber eyes held a wariness that made my chest ache. The whispers started immediately. "Is that real?" A college girl hissed to her friend. "Probably some genetic freak." A businessman muttered into his phone. "She shouldn't be allowed to work with normal people." An older woman complained to the manager. Mira heard every word. I watched her ears flatten slightly against her head, saw the way her shoulders tensed. But she simply tied her apron, picked up a notepad, and began taking orders with professionalism that put everyone else to shame. I became obsessed. Not in a creepy way. Or at least, I hope not. I just couldn't stop thinking about her. I started coming to the Moonlit Bean every day, sometimes twice a day, ordering drinks I didn't need just to watch her work. She moved with an almost otherworldly grace, her ears constantly moving, tracking conversations and sounds throughout the busy space. Most people avoided her. They'd order from the other barista, a pleasant guy named Kevin who had nothing remarkable about him except his complete ordinariness. When forced to interact with Mira, customers would avert their eyes, speak in clipped tones, or worse, stare openly like she was an exhibit at a zoo. She never complained, never called them out. She'd simply nod, write down their orders with her neat handwriting, and move on to the next person. I was different, though I wasn't sure if she'd noticed. I always chose her line, always smiled when ordering, always said please and thank you, like my mother had taught me. Sometimes I thought I caught her looking at me, those luminous amber eyes lingering a moment longer than necessary, but then she'd glance away, and I convinced myself I'd imagined it. 3 weeks into my daily visits, I'd memorized everything about her, the way she'd tuck her hair behind one very human ear when concentrating, how her fox ears would perk up when the cafe's bell chimed, the small smile she'd allow herself when a child stared in wonder rather than fear. I wanted to talk to her, really talk to her. But every time I opened my mouth, courage failed me, and I'd just order another coffee I didn't need. That changed on a Wednesday evening, when the autumn rain began to fall. The downpour started around 7, transforming the city streets into rivers of reflected neon. I'd been at the cafe for hours, my laptop open, but my word count unchanged, stealing glances at Mira as she wiped down tables and restocked supplies. One by one, customers left, rushing out into the rain with newspapers held over their heads. Kevin had clocked out at 6. The manager had left for a quick errand that I suspected wouldn't be quick at all. And then it was just us, Mira and me, and the sound of rain hammering against the windows. She stood behind the counter, counting the register, her fox ears swiveling occasionally toward the storm outside. I should leave, I thought. I should pack up my laptop and go home. Instead, I found myself walking to the counter, my heart pounding so hard I was sure she could hear it. "Can I get you something?" she asked, her voice softer than I'd expected, almost musical. "Actually," I said, surprised by my own boldness, "I was wondering if you'd like some company. It seems quiet tonight." Her ears perked forward, eyes widening slightly. For a moment, I thought she'd refuse, send me away with a polite excuse. Then something in her expression shifted, a wall coming down, maybe, or perhaps just exhaustion from maintaining it. "I'd like that," she said. She made us both tea, something herbal that smelled like autumn leaves, and came around the counter to sit across from me. This close, I could see the faint pattern of markings on her ears, like natural tattoos in a slightly darker shade. "I'm Ethan," I said, extending my hand. "Mira." Her hand was warm, and I felt a strange tingle when our skin touched, like static electricity, but gentler. Her ears twitched. "You've been coming here for weeks. You noticed?" A small smile played at her lips. I notice everything. It's part of what I am. What are you? The question escaped before I could stop it. Sorry, that was rude. No, she interrupted gently. It's refreshing, actually. Most people are either too afraid or too disgusted to ask directly. She wrapped her hands around her mug. I'm not entirely sure what I am. My mother was human. My father wasn't. I never knew him. Your ears are beautiful, I blurted out. She blinked, clearly taken aback. Most people think they're disturbing. Most people are idiots. That earned me a genuine laugh, bright and unexpected. Her ears perked up fully, and I realized they reflected her emotions more honestly than her face ever could. There's something else, she said quietly, her amber eyes searching mine. Something I can do. Would you like to see? I nodded, not trusting my voice. She reached across the table and took my hand in both of hers. The tingling sensation intensified, spreading up my arm like warm water. And then, I gasped, she was in my head, not invading exactly, but present. I could feel her consciousness brushing against mine, curious and gentle. And more than that, she was reading my emotions like they were words written on a page. My attraction to her, my fascination, the loneliness I've been carrying for months, the half-finished novel about a man who falls in love with someone different, all of it laid bare. Mira released my hand. Pulling back quickly, her cheeks flushed. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have. That was incredible. I breathed. She looked up at me, surprise evident in every line of her face. You're not afraid? Why would I be afraid? I leaned forward. Mira, that was the most amazing thing I've ever experienced. Can you do that with everyone? She nodded slowly. It's why I work here instead of somewhere more prestigious. Most employers find it unsettling when I know they're lying in interviews or feel their frustration before they even speak it. Here, at least, I can be useful. I know what customers want before they order. I can tell when someone's having a bad day and needs kindness. And what did you feel for me? Her ears flattened slightly, a gesture I was learning meant vulnerability, curiosity, wonder, and something else, something warm that you feel when you look at me. She met my eyes. No one's ever felt that way about me before. The rain continued its percussion against the windows as we talked. She told me about her childhood, growing up different in a world that valued conformity, the cruel taunts from classmates, the way her mother had tried to hide her ears under hats and hoods until Mira rebelled at 16 and decided to face the world as herself. It's exhausting, she admitted, her finger tracing the rim of her mug. Feeling everyone's disgust, their fear, their morbid curiosity. Sometimes I wish I could just be normal. Normal is overrated, I said. Normal is Kevin. She laughed again, and the sound made something in my chest expand. Kevin is nice. Kevin is boring. You're extraordinary. Her hand found mine across the table, and this time when our skin touched, the connection was different, intentional. I felt her emotions flowing into me, hope mixing with fear, loneliness recognizing loneliness, want meeting want. Ethan, she whispered, her voice barely audible above the rain. I need you to understand something. Being close to me, it's not like being with a normal person. You'd never be able to hide what you're feeling. Every emotion, every thought about me. I'd know it all. Good, I said firmly. I'm tired of hiding. The distance between us disappeared. I stood, pulling her up with me, and suddenly we were chest to chest, her amber eyes wide and luminous. Her ears were fully forward, trembling slightly. Can I kiss you? I asked. Instead of answering, she rose on her toes and pressed her lips to mine. The kiss was electric. That tingling sensation exploded through my entire body as our emotions crashed together. Her joy, my desire, her fear, my certainty. I felt everything she felt, and she felt everything I did, creating a feedback loop of sensation that left us both breathless. When we finally broke apart, she was smiling wider than I'd ever seen. That was... She started. Yeah, I agreed. She took my hand. Come with me. She led me to the back room, past the industrial coffee machines and stacks of supplies, to a small office that clearly doubled as her break room. There was a worn couch against one wall, a small table with a half-eaten sandwich, and photos pinned to a corkboard. Images of sunsets, forests, wild foxes, and natural habitats. "This is where I come when emotions get too heavy," she explained, locking the door behind us. "The walls are thick. Less noise, less feeling. Is it too much right now?" I asked, suddenly worried. "What I'm feeling?" "No." She turned to face me, and in the dim light of the single lamp, she looked almost ethereal. "What you're feeling is perfect. It's overwhelming, yes, but in the best way. I've spent so long surrounded by negativity that I've forgotten what it feels like to be wanted." I closed the distance between us, cupping her face in my hands. Her ears folded back slightly, not in fear, but in something like surrender. "I more than want you, Mira. I think I'm falling in love with you." The confession hung in the air between us. Through our connection, I felt her shock, her disbelief, and then, blooming like a flower, her reciprocal feeling. She loved me too. Maybe not fully, not yet, but the seed was there, growing. "Show me," she whispered. "Show me what it's like to be cherished." We sank onto the couch together, a tangle of limbs and racing hearts. Every kiss was deeper than the last, every touch magnified by our emotional connection. When my hand slid under her shirt, she gasped, and I felt her pleasure as if it were my own. When her fingers traced my spine, I experienced both my desire and her satisfaction at causing it. "This is incredible," I murmured against her neck. Her ears twitched against my cheek, soft as silk. "It's never been like this before," she admitted. "I've tried with others, but they were always afraid of the connection, or they fetishized it. You're just present, real." I kissed the base of one fox ear, and she made a sound that was almost a purr. Her emotions flooded through me: surprise, pleasure, vulnerability. The ear was sensitive, I realized. Intimate. "Is this okay?" I asked, running my fingers gently along the fur. "More than okay," she breathed. We explored each other slowly, learning what made the other gasp or sigh. The emotional feedback created a unique intimacy. There was no guessing, no uncertainty. Every touch that brought pleasure echoed between us, building and amplifying until we were both trembling. When we finally came together, it was transcendent. I felt my desire in hers, my love in hers, merging until I couldn't tell where I ended and she began. The rain had stopped by the time we emerged from the back room, both slightly disheveled and wearing matching grins. The cafe was still empty, the city outside glistening with moisture and reflected light. "I should probably close up," Mira said reluctantly. "Let me help." We worked together in comfortable silence, her ears perking up occasionally in contentment. I was loading chairs onto tables when the cafe door burst open. 3 guys stumbled in, clearly drunk and looking for trouble. I recognized one of them, Brandon, a local bully who'd been kicked out of my gym for harassing women. Well, Brandon sneered. "If it isn't the freak show. We wanted coffee, but I don't want some mutant touching my cup." Myra's ears flattened against her head. I felt her emotions shift. Fear, shame, resignation. This wasn't new for her. This was her everyday reality. "We're closed," she said quietly. "I don't care." Brandon stepped closer, his friends flanking him. "What are you, anyway? Some kind of science experiment gone wrong? Your parents must be so proud." Something snapped inside me. I moved between them and Mira, my body language shifting into something defensive. "Back off." Brandon laughed. "Or what? You're defending this thing." "She's not a thing. She's a person, and she's worth 10 of you." My voice was steady despite the adrenaline pumping through my veins. "Now get out before I call the police." "Tough guy, huh?" Brandon shoved me, hard enough to make me stumble. What happened next surprised everyone. Mira stepped forward, and suddenly all 3 guys froze. Her eyes had gone completely amber. No whites, no pupils, just solid gold. Her ears were standing straight up, and I could feel power radiating from her in waves. "Enough," she said, her voice layered with something otherworldly. "You feel brave right now, but I can sense everything beneath it. You're scared, Brandon. Scared of being ordinary. Scared that you'll never matter. And you," she turned to his friends, "you're not even drunk enough to think this is a good idea. You're just following because you're too weak to stand alone." The three guys were pale, swaying slightly. I realized she was projecting emotions into them, forcing them to feel what she wanted them to feel. Fear, shame, regret. "Leave," she commanded, "and don't come back." They practically ran out the door. The golden glow faded from Myra's eyes, and she sagged against me, exhausted. "I hate doing that," she whispered. "It feels like violating them." "You protected us," I said firmly, supporting her weight. "That's not violation. That's survival." She looked up at me, her amber eyes, normal now, swimming with tears. "You stood up for me. No one's ever done that before. I'll always stand up for you. I promised." "Everyone mocked your fox ears, but I couldn't look away because they're part of something extraordinary. You're extraordinary, Mira, and if the world can't see that, then screw the world." She kissed me then, pouring all her gratitude and love through our connection. When we broke apart, she was smiling through her tears. "Take me home," she asked. "Yours or mine?" "Ours," she said. "Let's make it ours." As we walked out into the rain-washed night, her hand in mine, and her fox ears perked up happily, I realized that sometimes the most beautiful things in life are the ones everyone else is too blind to see. And sometimes courage isn't about being fearless. It's about loving someone enough to stand beside them when the whole world stands against them. Behind us, the moonlit beam's lights flickered off, but ahead, our future glowed bright with possibility. Epilogue. 6 months later, the moonlit beam had new management. Us. Mira and I bought the cafe, transforming it into a haven for people who didn't quite fit the world's narrow definitions of normal. Our slogan, "Where different is beautiful." And every night, after the last customer left, we locked the door and find new ways to explore the extraordinary connection we shared, a bond that ridicule and fear could never break, built on acceptance, passion, and a love that transcended the ordinary. Her fox ears would twitch contentedly as I held her, and I'd think, everyone mocked her, but I knew the truth. I'd found magic where others saw oddity, and in doing so, I'd found home. Claude is AI and can make mistakes. Please double-check responses.